Hello and welcome back to Blockout Party. My name is Mike Fay, and joining me again are Pheano Black and Joe Colon, two top-level talents in the Flesh and Blood community. We're going to be picking up where we left off in our last video by sharing our top 3 non-Dynasty cards that we predict are going to see more play in the upcoming metagame. Joe, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Okay. I think Massacre gets a boost where it's at, because a lot of the Rhinar kind of discard cards are just jack shit terrible. And they just got both Madcaps, what was it, Muscle and Charger, which I think can assist in that process, as well as Savage Beatdown. So Massacre is when it gets discarded via an attack action cost. It intimidates, and if you've already discarded a 6 or higher in the round, instead it is +2 and has Intimidate itself, so it's a 3 for 8. So I think with those options kind of becoming available, now you could do some stuff where you're like, oh, Madcap Muscle, discard a thing. It discarded some other 6 instead, whatever. I pitched a blue for here. Now you can like tunic into the big ding dong Massacre and be like, 8, Intimidate again, gotcha, boom. Yeah, so I think Massacre gets a boost with these better discard cards that came out. Pheano, you're up.
I think that reactions and instant speed kind of like combat-y trick cards got a bit better with a lot of the heroes that are going on right now. One of them is even bigger than that in Assassin. I think that card's great. Again, you're, like I said earlier, that go again, sometimes you don't always just have that. So being able to go Spider's Bite, and then swing with something that you didn't want to give go again anyways, and then in reactions playing this so that way you can get the quicken token, get a good card into arsenal, and then you can have a big round next turn where you present multiple contracts, get a bunch of silver, and now you can kind of be in this board state where you can kind of chain big silver turns back to back to back and like always be doing things with your armor and kind of keep a lead and hold it for a while. It really helps you facilitate what that deck's trying to do.
All right. On a similar note, in terms of instant speed or attack reactions, I had Razor Reflex, kind of for the same reason that it shows cut to the chase. I think this is definitely going to be pretty necessary in Assassin. So that works on pretty much every attack that Assassin's going to be using, maybe except Surgical Extraction. And I feel like in the beginning of the game, before your boots are online, you need some other way to get off more than one attack. And Razor Reflex is probably your best and most efficient way of doing that. It helps your contract hit, gives it go again, ups the power. So I feel like we're going to see resurgence of Razor Reflex pretty much in the form of Assassin
Also
decks.
with more warrior and potentially more like Katsu decks that could see more play.
I don't know. I kind of give myself a headache every time I start reading all the Tiger cards. I'm just like, what is this going to look like? I don't really know, and I don't really want to try and build it. So I'll let someone else figure it out.
Figure it out, then it's mine. Mine.
Yeah.
Fang it.
This is mine now.
So my next one, oh Jesus Christ! My next one is actually Forked Lightning. So anyone that hasn't played Kano in a long time, 3 costs. It deals 2 arcane damage to target hero, then deals 2 arcane damage to target hero. I think Blessing of Aether is a big boon to it. I know I played against one opponent and I got 2 of them out. I saw one on the top, and then I played one from my hand. Put that nice little Forked Lightning in the arsenal. Next round, that guy took 16
Jesus
to the
Christ.
face, and then I Blazing Aether right after. I was like, Mer! Teach you 5 AD Levia. Yeah, so I think Blazing Aether pumped up Fork a fair bit here. So now you can probably see some Fork Lightning plays going off, even though they're harder than Wildfire. Yeah, Fork is more for the long matches where someone comes in with like 4 or 5 AB. You just know they're going to play to block you out, so you need to be able to just super pump a Fork to get over the top.
Yeah.
And try to get them out, because then if you can get rid of the cards, then you could try to Wildfire off of their round and try to finish the game.
Or if nothing else, get enough chip damage in where they're like in range. Kind of staying with what I said before about reactions and stuff. I think that more defensive reaction style cards like Fate Foreseen, Sigil, and Oasis could start seeing more play. If decks like Boost Dash, Assassin, Warrior have a huge uptick, well, defense reactions, very good against all of these. Being able to fatigue them out, very good. Very contingent on the way the metagame shifts. Because like if we're still in the world where just 2 card 8 block for 6 is the only thing that matters in the game, then like this matters way less. But if these decks actually take up metagame share and push that kind of just bunga bunga, just I'm just gonna block and 8 you strategy out, then yeah, that matters.
Yeah, so it'd just be a challenge for all these decks that maybe didn't want to bring defense reactions to now.
Which
Start
could then
thinking
push
about
up decks that do want to play these cards naturally in the metagame, like Dromai. Like, she just wants to play these cards
Yeah.
anyways. Maybe you see an uptick there.
All right, Faye, what's card number 2 for you?
All right, card number 2 for me. It's not a card. Well,
It's not a card.
It is a card. It's not that it'll see like more play. It'll actually get used. So my card is Tecla Foundry Heart. I still think that Hibachi Blaster is not poopy. I think it'll be really good. Past iterations of Dash have been very, very controlling, and you bring Tecla Foundry Heart because it's Battle Worn 2. But in a new Dynasty Boost Dash, I think you do actually get to use it. Just on call all the time, once per turn, nets you 1 resource. It's probably like the most consistent chess piece. It has a big cost to it. You're milling 2 cards. So the big question is, will you be able to kill your opponent before you kill yourself? And I think that trade-off is going to be worth it when you need that extra 1 resource to play your last card, to come in for 6, or to like come in for 4 or 5, and then shoot the gun. It breaks the chain, which isn't going to matter too much. I mean, Pulse Wave Harpoon cares if you've broken the chain. Combustible Courier also cares. But for the most part, it's not messing things up too much by breaking the chain if you want to use it in like the middle of a turn. We'll see more Dash, so we'll just inevitably see more Tecla Foundry Heart on the table, but now we're actually going to see it get used.
So long as we're not talking about cards, my pick is going to be for Garganical. I think this Pokemon's insane. It's the best body press sweeper in the game.
Go away. No one cares about your Pokemon. Nope, going away.
Don't even show me.
I'm going to go with Rampart being a card that got better with this set. I'll tell you right now, we had like 2 matches with Oldhim where we were bringing that in, and now it's probably at like 5. We're like, that's a Dash. Okay, here's a Rampart. Arachne. Okay, here's a Rampart. And we're just going to Chronoseed you to death till you die because you can't really get in. And so I think Rampart of the Ram's Head, with a lot of these new decks, is getting back some of the power where it was just kind of like left to only fight versus like Bravo. And I guess it always fought versus Dash, but now we see more Dash.
What do you think about Powder Keg into that?
I think that only works on actual guns, so I'd have to block your 5.
Yeah, or it's a gun, so it doesn't work with pistols. So you have to bring the gun into Oldhim. You have to have the powder keg on the table. They throw the shield in front of it. It hits, and then you blow up powder keg.
Well, it says a defending equipment, so it could have defended somewhere earlier in the the attack chain. But yes, you'd have a powder keg in play, and then they would have to thrown it and not prepared to block your gun. Good luck with that one.
That's asking a lot of the Oldhim player.
Yeah, because like if you're on Hibachi Blaster, I'm less inclined to care about the Rampart. You have to attack a bunch of times, so like I'm gonna use it. Obviously, it's not the same as when it's versus pistol. And it's
my assumption was it is pistol into Oldhim, like a sideboard package of items.
Oh, you can't powder pistol. Pistol's not a gun.
Yeah, pistol and gun are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guns are illegal. I got this pistol, guys.
So it only works on the blaster?
No, Plasma Barrel Shot and Hanabi Blaster are both guns. The other one's a pistol. Yeah.
A little bit.
Did it change it for you?
All right, Pheano, your last non-Dynasty card?
So kind of like before, little contingent on how the metagame shifts. Dissolution Sphere. I think that if Tiger Katsu or Viserai have an uptick in the metagame, like let's say someone cracks the code and figures out a Looming Doom deck, and you have this big uptick in Viserai, and they're not necessarily doing that into you, but they're still doing rune chant things. And the Tiger Katsu, that's like probably one of those decks that's like either insane and everywhere or unplayable. And if you are seeing that, Dissolution Sphere is probably pretty good there. Being able to stop them from, like, they need to have like 2 pumps to actually do anything versus you, and that's a big ask. And especially if you're racing them, like you're putting them on quite a clock if you're playing boost dash into them, so they got to find that shit quick. And I mean, you probably weren't winning anyways if you face someone and they draw double Art of War in the first couple turns anyways.
I was looking at Dissolution Sphere too. It's a really cool card, and when it works out, it really works out.
Was Dissolution Sphere your third one?
No, it was not. It's just looking at all the old dash cards. There's so many items that you forget about.
I like that new one where it puts a counter on something every time you play it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that with Dissolution Sphere could completely shut down like a Karachi Fi or
It's
a
like
new
all these
Tiger
cards that were
Katsu.
balanced around the text on them of like, oh, this is supposed to stick around for a certain number of rounds. They're not balanced around what if they stuck around longer. And I think those kind of design spaces are always interesting to look at for like, maybe something's broken here. Not necessarily Sphere, just like those are always interesting spots to look at the beginning.
Those things all cost so much, like as far as like time or resources, that it's like I'm okay with that, largely in part.
Dissolution Sphere does cost 2, and like the new Majestic item does cost 2, but you can always just play Data Doll and then just flip it, and there you go.
BIOS update.
Yeah.
You hit the second cycle and you're like BIOS update, and then you're like, floop, oh look, an item. Floop, oh look, a second item.
All right. So my last choice was Flack, which used to be like the cornerstone of Katsu. Many or what feels like many years ago. So if there is a crouching tiger combo build that like requires some serious setup, I feel like Flack is the best way to find that setup, find that busted turn without dying first. Flack is just going to be very good value to stay alive, to find your pieces. It used to be good enough to sort of be the cornerstone of a deck.
I think at the recent Battle Hardened, Eshki got top 4 at the PTI event, playing Katsu.
One of his games was
Really?
on
Okay.
Mansant's stream. He was doing the tiger thing. Interesting build. My thought with Flack is if Wounding Bull is good because it's a 2-card 8, you know what's better than 2-card 8? 2-card 9. That's more numbers on cards.
Yeah.
Yes, it just required your opponent to attack you, and then again. With
And
a
it had
bigger
to be
number.
a 5 or bigger
Yes,
for the second
right.
one.
I remember doing that versus Command and Conquerors. It was so brutal. When you like catch a 5 to like a Command and Conquer or whatever, you're like, oh no. And then there's like, here's my little 1 equipment. And I'm like, no. It'd be really good into what the stupid card. So if they do Rise from Ashes and then they open with a Belittle. And then you're like, well, I guess I'm just gonna Flack this Belittle, and whatever that big one is after, we're gonna stop
Lava
it.
Burst.
And then they just Phoenix Flame you. They Phoenix Flame you for 3, and then you're like, oh. Well, the only problem with the Lava Burst is you would have to not block in between, because as soon as you block again, it uses up the effect.
Yeah, it's true. You have to save your combo block from the Flack.
You have to save your next block.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, well, that sort of wraps up all of our top 3 non-dynasty cards that we think are going to be seeing some more play, something of a resurgence. Joe and Pheano, thank you
Thanks for having
guys
me.
for coming on, sharing your expertise. Anything that you guys want to plug? Anything next on the horizon for you guys, or is it just lay low and take a bit of a break from competitive
taking a break.
flesh and blood?
Studying for the CPA exam. That's about it.
You guys
Nice.
can check me out on YouTube and Twitter, just Pheano Black.
I'm hiding behind a paywall, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you to everyone for watching. Let us know in the comments what you make of each of these cards. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.